there I was filming my Superman and Lois review, and I thought to myself, you know what would be fun is a CW Arrowverse Countdown. So if this is something you can find interested, subscribe, then keep watching. All right, before I begin, a couple things to note. I grew up reading Marvel comics. I didn't read a lot of DC until recently. I've actually been reading a lot of DC, I'd say the last 6 months. I was always a big fan of Batman, Superman. That's about it in DC. I knew about The Flash, Green Lantern, Green Arrow, somewhat. So the characters on the CW are all characters I'm not super familiar with. And I will say I am doing a countdown because I like every show. Some are better than the others. So even the 8th best show, I still do watch. And it's still going on. So at number 8, we've got Legends of Tomorrow. This is the kind of sidekick characters from other Arrowverse TV shows joining up, getting recruited by Rip Hunter to save time and correct any variances from those bad guys going back trying to change time. This is a show that does not take it seriously whatsoever. And it has fun episodes where they do pretty much jokes. It's campy, it's cheesy, and that's exactly what the show wants to be. Where some shows are trying to be serious and like, yeah, I've got red tights, I go really fast, take me seriously. Not this show. Sometimes the main villain on the show is a big giant stuffed animal, and people love it. I will say this is number 8, so this is my least favorite. I really like the rotating characters that go in and out of the team. Favorite member is probably John Constantine. The White Canary from Arrow is in it. She's kind of been the de facto leader. We also have the brothers from Prison Break. One is Captain Cold. The other one is Dominic Purcell, Heatwave. And he is, I believe, exited the show. Captain Cold left quite a while ago. You also had Adam for a while. And you also have the Steel guy. And there's a whole mess of others. But they're all a fun time. If you go in looking for a serious superhero show, not for you. If you want to just laugh. So, for an example, if my kids were doing a review, this one would be somewhere near the top. Number 7, Batwoman. This one's a tricky one because Ruby Rose left after the first season. She was playing Kate Kane. And season 2 was the focus. Where is Batwoman? Is she alive? Is she dead? Stepping into the cowl is Ryan Wilder to take over as Batwoman. And she has her own backstory. Kind of poor person trying to fight her way through the system. The system's not giving her any breaks. And she gets into the suit without any training. And season 2 focuses on her trying to become the best Batwoman she can be. That kind of made for a really tough season 2. And it didn't really let, her name's Ryan Wilder, grow into the Batwoman, in my opinion, because they really hung over the entire season, whereas the other Batwoman. What I do like about this show is Alice. I think she's a great villain. That's Kate Kane's sister, who was also thought to be dead. Apparently that's the thing on this show. Everyone's thought to be dead. And they also kind of tease an underlying theme of Bruce Wayne has left Gotham. Where is he? Is he ever coming back? Does Batwoman have to permanently fill these shoes? That's kind of a really neat story that they've barely touched on. And at the end of season 2, so Kate Kane comes back as a different actress. They have a cool way of explaining why she looks different. But I'll let you watch if you haven't seen it yet. And she actually leaves to find Bruce, leaving Ryan with the cowl all to herself. And she's got to save Gotham. Another thing I really like about the show is, in addition to Alice, there's Black Mask, Hush. As always, with any anything set in Gotham, there is just a treasure trove of villains. This one, I hate actually, the red wig they make the Batwomen wear when they're in their suits. I don't understand why they have to do that. They could just wear the regular bat suit. Sometimes this one does delve a little bit into the, the cheesy realm, which all CW shows do. But I find you can ignore that for the most part. This is a Batman show, so it's pretty dark. Also, Kate Kane's father is the police chief, kind of his own super unit called the Crows. He's also does a fantastic job in that role. I think the cast as a whole is really good. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with season 3 without the specter of Kate Kane hanging over the entire season. Number 6, Supergirl. What I like about this show, it started out on CBS, had really high production value. You could see the difference between a CBS show and an Arrow CW show or Flash CW show. Then they decided they didn't want to be in comic books, so go to CW. What I like about this show, I like her relationship with her sister, as she is not superpowered, but she's also very protective of Supergirl, who's got all the same powers as Superman, yet she needs that big sister to keep her going throughout the day. Also has a good performance. Lena Luthor is one of the big kind of good guy / bad guy or girl. She gets betrayed because she is friends with Supergirl and doesn't realize that she actually is Supergirl. So that secret identity of just putting on some glasses really fooled her. Currently, they've had Lex Luthor actually show up, and brilliantly played by John Cryer. I think he's been a highlight of the show. I really hope he finds his way over to Superman and Lois as well. Her team is rounded out with Martian Manhunter. He's been one of the best parts of the show, and there was even an appearance of Sentinel. Brainiac has been a consistent member of her team. I've enjoyed this show. This one definitely heads down the campy cheesy meter every once in a while. It's also currently viewing its last part of its last season. So I've been excited to see how they're going to end it. So if you like Supergirl, I would definitely recommend checking it out. I came in with no prior knowledge of her other than the 80s movie, which I thought was all right. And that actress actually ended up playing her mother on the TV show. All right, and number 5, we've got Black Lightning. This one was canceled prematurely. Some of the other shows have carried on a little longer than they should have. Black Lightning was canceled early. This is definitely switched up the formula. Didn't really cross over with the other universe, with the exception of course, Crisis on Infinite Earths. I liked the Black Lightning's struggle with should he use his powers. And Black Lightning has the best villain in the entire CW universe, Tobias Whale. He is uncompromising. He is a bad guy. There's no bones about it. And he does not like Black Lightning. I also liked that Black Lightning's team is made up of his family. His daughters end up getting their own powers, which I thought were pretty cool. You also have Khalil Payne. He turns into kind of a interesting villain / good guy at the end. He's got multiple personalities. He's got the personality that's the unflinching assassin. He's got the personality where he's the super smart, I'm going to help the good guys. There was rumors that he would get his own show. That would be pretty interesting. He started out in the beginning as just one of the boyfriend to one of the daughters. Then he got his neck broke, and then they remade him into a super meta. This show focused on, has a lot more metas and how the community handles them, which kind of reminded me of sort of like an X-Men type plot. And I was really bummed to see Black Lightning go. I thought Black Lightning had more story to tell. The team was pretty self-contained. Sometimes I feel like, Flash has a giant team. Arrow's team just kept getting bigger and bigger. and it really focused on the Black Lightning family, and that's what I really liked. All right, top half of our countdown. Here it is. Number 4 is Arrow. So this is the first CW show to start the universe. That's why it's called the Arrowverse. I didn't know a lot about Arrow before this show. To be quite honest, the Star City Savior, I thought his story was a lot like Batman's. He's the rich guy. He gets a dose of reality. He ends up on an island training for a long time. And then he comes back and struggles to be a superhero. This was kind of a street level show at first. It took a little bit to get into. I did enjoy it. This one I could have, when I was making my list, I could have slid this one down probably a little bit. I didn't always like the acting from the lead actor. I thought he was, I don't know, he was intense when he didn't need to be, and very one-dimensional. But it was a great show that had some great supporting cast. Deathstroke being the top one. I loved it anytime that he was on. Even debuted the Suicide Squad before the movies came out, and I wish they could have done more with that. That was a really fun side plot as well. It also kicked off The Flash, kicked off Legends of Tomorrow, and our boy Oliver McQueen was the savior in Crisis on Infinite Earths. We also had different villains show up on that one, and they were always different versions of an Archer. We also got to meet Ra's al Ghul. They used the Lazarus Pit often, and so I really felt like this show sometimes was just, hey, we're going to do an Arrow show, but we're going to use the Batman storylines. But it is still a fun show. It probably went on a little longer than it could have. The final season, I didn't like the way it ended. They kind of showed a possible plot of his daughter taking over the bow and arrow. She did not. I also liked Arsenal. I wished he had stayed in the show a little more than he did. That was Arrow's sidekick. But overall, it was a fun show. All right, number 3. This is going to be a little bit of a surprise. This one was originally on the DC app, which I loved, and this hasn't really been on the CW shows as a crossover yet, other than a quick cameo in Crisis on Infinite Earths. So Stargirl is my number 3 show. And you're probably thinking, what? What? Stargirl has been a breath of fresh air. The high production value in season 1, I think because they were trying to promote the DC app, so it's a little higher than even the top shows on CW. Stargirl is just a group of kids. They're in high school trying to figure themselves out. Well, oh boy, here you go, a magic staff. So she recreates the Justice Society of America. In the current season, Green Lantern's daughter is showing up, which we haven't seen a lot of Green Lantern stuff since that really bad movie back in the early 2000s. You also have Luke Wilson as her mentor, and he is kind of a holdover from the original Justice Society, helping her out. He was a sidekick. So he's helping these kids as they face a whole bunch of different bad guys. Stargirl faces a gang of bad guys called the Injustice Society. Now, if the show was called Injustice Society, I mean, that would probably be a good show right there. It's been a great cast. You've got Amy Smart, another 90s star who's turned into the TV. So, of course, I like the show because I like 90s stars. And I think what makes it different is, again, that it's focused on more of the teenagers finding themselves, their powers. I like one of the episodes in the new season. They're just roaming the streets and they're like, there's no bad guys anywhere. Maybe we should just save the world a few days a week. I thought it was pretty funny. I'm looking forward to where they're going to go with Green Lantern's daughter. I really hope they're part of this big crossover that's coming with Flash, his final season. I think they'll add a lot to the team, maybe a different vibe, fresh energy. Sometimes you just keep getting the same adults saving the same world the same way. So it's nice to see this from a different perspective. Also, I'm a big fan of Joel McHale. He looks like he's going to be on the show a little more in season 2. He was, of course, the original Starman who lost his staff. We thought he was killed. Turns out he wasn't. And now Stargirl has a staff. She wears the red, white, and blue suit. She kind of looks like Captain America almost. This show has great villains with the Injustice Society, like I said. And I think this one's worth a watch. This might be another one like Superman where you're like, I'm done with CW DC shows. Give this one a chance. Number 2 is The Flash. So we started out with Arrowverse, with Arrow, and then Flash kind of debuted. There was rumors he was going to get his own show. And boy, am I glad he did. If there was a yin and yang chart, there would be Arrow, and then there would be Flash. Arrow is dark and gloomy. Flash is bright and fun. And not in a cheesy way at first. I really loved the original story of Flash being mentored by his actual arch rival. And again, if you remember at the beginning, I did not read Flash comic books, so I did not know. I'm sure some of you probably are like, oh yeah, that's Reverse Flash right there. So that was a cool surprise. I liked his team with Cisco and the ongoing romance with Iris. I thought all the villains have been pretty cool. You've had the Reverse Flash, Godspeed. I really liked when Wally was on the show. I wish he was on the show. Then his daughter from the future comes in. And then they've had the actor play different versions of the Reverse Flash guy for a while. Then he left. This show, I'm glad it's ending on season 8. I hope they give it a better ending than Arrow got and Black Lightning got. This has been a family favorite of ours as well. We all watch this show, so it makes it hard to do a review when we're only halfway through watching it and it's ended. And I'm like, hey guys, with your 17 different schedules, we got to watch the show. It's fun and we like it. But I highly recommend watching Flash if you're looking for more of a lighter, but still a really good story. They even tried to do the Flashpoint, which I just read, and the TV show did not do it justice. But I didn't know that when I watched it. I don't think you can do Flashpoint without Batman, and I really hope they do a movie. But back on topic, The Flash has been the number 2 show, probably been the number 1 show up until last year, and there's only one show left. Who's it going to be at number 1? And here we are, the top 8 countdown of CW Arrowverse shows. Number 1, Superman and Lois. So I just did a review for this one, so if you haven't seen that, definitely check it out. It'll be a little more in depth. I'm just going to do a quick high-level overview of this show. This show is Superman, who did show up on Supergirl a few times, and then they liked him so much. They did Superman and Lois. This is really the Clark Kent family, focusing on his boys and his wife moving from moving from Metropolis back to Smallville, trying to live small town USA. This show, when I first saw the trailer, I was like, ooh, that looks different. That's a darker take than the CW. Not as dark as the movies, current movies with Henry Cavill. This has been a really fun story, learning about how Superman kind of mixes trying to be a great dad while saving the world for everyone else. And spoiler alert, he does not do a good job. As you can imagine, the world is in constant need of Superman, but so are his kids. Also, kind of like Stargirl, apparently I like more of the high school coming of age stories. The boys are learning to live in this small place. One of them loves it. One of them gets powers. The other one does not. You can imagine the family dinners. Superman's got his awesome cape sitting there, and he's looking over at his son all proud. And he's like, you're going to be just like Dad. And he looks over at the other one and he's like, well, you're going to try. You're going to try. No, that's not true. Superman wouldn't do that. He is righteous and just. But seriously, if you don't watch any other CW shows, you have to watch Superman and Lois. It is the best one by far. If you love Superman, or if you just like comic book TV shows / movies, this is yours. This is it. All right. So that's my list. If you found it helpful, please consider hitting the subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, comment below. Let me know your list. Do you watch the CW? And if you do, what order would you give What other comic book shows do you like? There's quite a few out there. I really like this one because this is like enough shows that you can have a list. Maybe someday we'll do a Marvel list, but who knows? I'll also hit that notifications button so you can be the first to say I watched Bragging About Cinema's video. And when you watch my videos, you're going to find something to brag about.